Oh boy. You know, it's 5:15 a.m. here in this undisclosed location. This one's a very spooky Halloween-themed Hyde Wars. I'm not going to tell you where I am. I could be in Salem at a haunted house right now. Ooh. I could be at an abandoned mental hospital. Ooh. I wonder, I'm being very low energy. I'm very low energy right now. Because it's 5 a.m. We call this the 5 a.m. special. Okay? You go to a diner at 5 a.m., you're not going to get the cook's best performance. Alright? He's not going to be making you, the best pancakes he's ever made. You're still going to get fed. Okay? You're still going to get a belly full of grease. But it's not going to be top tier. Now, myself being the amazing performer that I am, I suspect I'll start to come into it. I'll start to hit my stride, and then you'll really see things kick into overdrive. But until then, I feel like back when I was in high school, fucking sleeping all day, every day. High school sleeping. I love sleeping. You remember that shit? Going to high school, falling asleep all day? Yeah, that was the best. Loved that time. Just 4 good years, followed by college, where I was asleep all the time too. And I've never felt dread like that, like I did in college. Waking up 2-3 hours late for the class that I needed to be at. Good God. That's the most dread that I've ever felt. Those days waking up so late for class and just thinking to myself, fuck, I'm useless. I'm such a waste. That was really brutal. And for what? For nothing. I learned nothing. A fucking shit house. Oh my god. Just need the ice pack for the old back here. Got the back and neck combo coming at you. Oh god. I'm laid up in the ICU tonight. That's what the Greenlight is for. Greenlight therapy. I'm on a hospital bed right now. I know you can't see too well. Holy shit, that hurts. Doctor says I need a backiotomy. That's the only good part about back pain is that you get constant opportunities to say, doctor says I need a backiotomy, which is from some black guy stand-up act where he says, the doctor says I need a backiotomy. Or it's from a movie. It might be a Wayans Brothers thing, something like that. Here's one. I highly recommend you check out, this is one you might not know of. This was before your time. Def Comedy Jam. It's like, I think Russell Simmons put it on, and it was all black comedians, and it's all super funny, pretty vulgar. It's very funny though. Michael Blackson. I'm so black. Look at me. I love Michael Blackson. He's great. Bernie Mac, whose stand-up was fucking sick, man. I ain't scared of y'all motherfuckers. Kick ass. Damn. Bernie Mac, Michael Blackson, Dave Chappelle back in that era. He was doing it, but he wasn't. He didn't come into his own style, so he was still doing pretty. He wasn't good in that era. And I think Patrice O'Neal came after Def Comedy Jam. That's my favorite stand-up of all time. It's Patrice O'Neal, just for the record. Man, you're getting the 5 a.m. treatment right now. You probably signed up for a quality video. You're getting the 5 a.m. treatment right now. Sorry to tell you. Sorry, guys. 5 a.m., you're getting the treatment. Damn. All right, let's get into it. I'll preface this by talking about myself. Most important subject. Character number 1 in this JRPG. Okay, team leader. You can be on the team. All right, you can be in the party. You can join the party, or you can be an NPC. You can be a bad guy. But Cloud Strife, you're looking at him, baby. All right, so I'll talk about my own lens of experience here. I'm just tired. That's it. Episode over. Peace. Fuck. There we go. Tighten the hat up for a little bit of action. Now I'm feeling the energy. Now I'm feeling the kick that I was waiting for. Wow. I'm thinking 1,000 different things right now, all of them interesting. I wish I could put a voice to it, but it's just they're so complex and the thoughts are racing by so quickly that it would be impossible for me to say any of them. Things like numbers. I'm just doing math in my head right now, and I'm actually not tired. How about that? Alright. When I first started out making them our comedy videos, and also when I was just sort of a jokester in high school, college, or whatever, people always thought that I was very negative, and I don't know if they actually took the time to think about whether or not I was a negative person, or whether they were just reacting to how I made them feel bad or whatever. Most people are very one-dimensional. You make them feel a certain way, they think that's what you are, and they don't, who's going to take the time to analyze you? Nobody. You'd be lucky if your own parents took the time to analyze you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that's something people owe you, but it is what it is. And if you are lucky enough to find somebody who actually takes the time to understand what it is that you're all about, then that's probably a good person to have around, whether or not they're sycophantic personal groupie of yours, or whether or not they're constantly giving you constructive criticism and telling you what you're doing wrong. If they actually take the time to understand what you're all about, then it's probably, as long as they're not abusive or something like that, it's probably good to have that person in your ear, giving you advice, looking out for you, etc. And that's pretty rare. And for me, that's mostly been girls. I've probably met like 3 or 4 girls like that. Anyway, oh god, this thing itches. That's what they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me the worst part would be the itching, but they did tell me to wash it. Fair enough, and I haven't washed it. 2 months, dirty neck brace. I wonder what's making my neck itch, the cigar residue or the sweat? I think I have diaper rash on my neck though. Ah, it's got an itch to it. It's probably it's leftover food particles that get stuck in here. Okay, so I got pegged as being very negative. Now don't isolate that sound clip to make me say I got pegged, because that's not the case. But I did get pegged as being very negative. use the full context. If you reuse this clip, don't make it sound like I just said I got pegged. That would be unfair. You'd be taking me out of context in that sense. And I don't like that. I do not approve of that one bit. Do not make a video compilation of me saying that I got pegged. But I did get pegged as being very negative. And when I was getting pegged as being very negative, I've never actually been very negative. I've had low moments, but I've never really been cynical in a deep sense. I think what I've always been trying to do, ever since high school, even the proto jokes that I was making in high school, were about using negativity and satire and a biting, acerbic sense of humor to take the piss out of or destroy or mock or whatever the iniquities of the world, I think. And now I'm sounding like I'm writing a New Yorker article about myself here, but really almost any time that I've been really mean or nasty or negative, I've really I think that my intention has mostly been to bring about a state of greater justice, something like that. And I'm not saying that I'm like some brilliant guy who's gotten it right every time. I'm just saying that generally I'm not fucking negative. I'm really not. Like I'm a positive, optimistic person, even when I'm like dead broke or in a neck brace or whatever, what have you. Okay? I really keep a pretty positive, optimistic outlook. And please don't tell me this went out. There she is. Oh yeah. Oh. And this is quickly gonna delve into fucking Guy Fawkes mask, the Joker, Hot Topic t-shirt territory. But the world is not like a great place. In a sense it is, but there's so much evil and inefficiency and stupidity just constantly compounding on itself, making these there are places in the world, whether they're geographic places or mental places or just places that are really like hell. Like there's absolutely, and I haven't even, I'm not friends with many veterans. I haven't seen really too much crazy stuff, but I'm definitely aware that there are I need matches. Fuck. That there are many different types and flavors and sizes of fucking hell on this planet. For example, if this match goes out, I'm going to smash my camera and I'm going to drive my car into this pole right here, and I'm never going to make videos again if this match goes out. If this match goes out, I swear to God, if it goes out before I can light my stogie, I swear that I'll never make videos again. And I'm superstitious, so I actually probably would have done that. I don't swear to God lightly. Even though he's not real, he's a spaghetti monster. Now I have to suck on this thing and nurse it back to health. in order to keep my career going, because I said that I would swear to God if the match went out before I could light it. And there we go, a perfect illustration of the point that I'm going to make tonight. Against all odds, stay smoking. Smoke ASMR. And life, like coughing from smoke, is pain. Oh. So, I'm not saying I had some hard knock life here. In fact, it was quite the opposite. However, I've always been very carefully attuned to the fact that we live in clown world. The world is a fucking three-ring circus of idiocy and evil. And so that's the point that I probably would have wanted to make to anyone who in high school or in college said, you know, oh, Sam Hyde's so negative, he's so cynical, how can you get it? And I probably was a dickhead. I definitely was. I was a fucking loser, asshole, know-it-all, etc. But my point is, if you think everything is like hunky-dory, or you think the solution to people wasting years and hundreds of thousands of dollars and getting on OxyContin and heroin and not making money and not having families, if you think the solution to that is like being nice, you're fucked. You're dead weight. Like, just shut up, go make dream catchers or something. Like, go do arts and crafts. And I think negativity, I think the style of negativity that I've brought in past videos and past jokes and things, I feel like the world needs, like, not necessarily from me, I'm just saying the world needs, like, in general, people to have a more critical eye on things. People need to raise their standards and reject bad stuff. And that's sort of the gist of what my style has been about. Varying degrees of, you know, silly stuff like putting a banana in my hat and you know, silly edit gags and meaningless little Tim and Eric mouth noise bullshit. But most of the stuff that hits hard, I think, is like that, where it's negative, but it's pointed, and it has it ultimately has like an optimistic sort of message or outlook to it. So that's my preface to the point of this video, is just sort of clearing the air on how I personally use negativity or cynicism and satire as a tool, as a means to something rather than as an end. Which is that guy Don Jolly, the thing that bothers him about Rick and Morty is not so much the humor and the fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson tier, put some science on it, we'll solve it with science. I haven't watched the show, but I know what Don's beef with it is, and it's that the ultimate message is hey Morty, nothing matters, don't you see, you reproduce, you live and you die, nothing matters, Morty. Like, it's a very nihilistic show, I guess. I haven't watched it, but that seems to fall in line with the trend as far as humor goes. Humor and everything that you read in New York Times or the New Yorker or whatever. It's ultimately got this message that nothing matters, and I feel like it couldn't be further from the truth. But anyway, so what I want to talk about now that I got my 20-minute introduction out of the way, replete with plenty of cigar breaks. That's probably gonna bother people. I gotta get an oil change. Fuck. And this is the most. Let me just keep sucking on this. Hold on. I gotta suck on this because I was pegged as being negative. Love sucking on this because when I think about being pegged as being negative, it makes me want to suck on this thing. Fuck. So this is one of this might be the most important broad topic that I have to share with you. Broad as opposed to pointed and practical. I think the most pointed and practical advice that I can give is don't be an artist or a musician or a writer, and don't go to college without making damn sure that you're one of the few people that needs to go to college. That's the most important practical pointed advice that I have to give. Most important broad advice that I have to give is wash your neck brace. When you get a neck brace, you have to wash it. Otherwise, it's going to itch and you're going to get diaper rash on your neck. Most important broad advice that I have to give is also potentially the most woo-woo and might alienate some people. I never know how to use that word properly. Am I alienating myself or would I be alienating you? I don't know. Okay? I'll have to look that up on the old dictionary there when I remember, which I won't do. But this is very yoga. This is very The Alchemist. This is very The Secret. The book The Secret. Mental projection. You imagine it and it becomes real. If you wish for it, you'll get it. This is the most new agey advice that I have to offer. And it's this. Fucking negativity. And now I'm not talking about humor. I'm not talking about making jokes that make fun of Heather Heyer. Okay? I'm not talking about all that stuff. I'm talking about actual negativity. Which might be more like being black-pilled, but even black-pilled people care about what's going on and they're paying attention to what's going on. What I'm talking about is like a primal, unthinking, base-level negativity. Watching cartoons, eating yummy cereal, and being a petty person, wishing that bad things would happen to people in your personal life. I'm talking about real, genuine negativity as an end and not as a means. And then positivity, and this is not, everything's great, oh my gosh, everything's great, you guys. Positivity, real positivity, which is when you are tested, when you have nothing, when you're in a fucking ditch, can you still muster the fortitude to fucking do something. Okay, I'm talking about actual positivity, not surface level positivity, which may be helpful, but it's not what I'm talking about, not related to this, okay? So actual, like, elemental force of nature, negativity and positivity, this video sucks. Actual yin and yang are real. Ooh. They're fucking real. And you can use them to either ruin your life or get something done. That's the gist of it. That's basically where I'm going with this one. I'm trying to think of evidence that I have to offer you to convince that that's the case. And there's nothing. This thing itches like a fuck. Oh, battery saver mode? I don't think so. It's red. Let me just pause. Let me restart this here. Alright. Negativity, positivity are real. And depending on what your mix is, okay, what your air-fuel ratio is, negativity versus positivity, you will either end up tortured by demons that you cannot see and cannot understand, or you will end up living some sort of spiritually, mentally, financially, possibly fulfilling life. And the outcomes in between the bad one and the good one are more or less determined, oh God, by what your personal blend of negativity / positivity is. How about that? If what you do, and this is not like, I'm not saying it's like karma or something where the negative things are going to be like points that add up, and you get punished once a week based on how many naughty points you have. But what I'm saying is, you can train your brain to run on battery acid very easily. You can think negative things, and it's kind of like being a rageaholic. Look up what a rageaholic is if you don't know that you can actually become a rageaholic. But you can just as easily become a poisonaholic. You can wallow in mental poison and think the worst shit all day and hate yourself and hate the people around you and hate the people who might care about you if you weren't such a piece of shit. And you can make that a self-reinforcing mental loop that may one day become impossible to get out of. And it's probably pretty easy for some people to do that. It's definitely the path of least resistance. And it's helped along the way by self-pity, by entitlement, by thinking that the world owes you something, by thinking that you're better than other people, by having high expectations, and by being the type of person who has a tantrum when those expectations are not met. Those are all things that will help you in your journey to hell, which you can very easily reach. And it may take a long time before you're a permanent resident of hell, but it'll eventually happen, and when it does, it'll feel like it happened in the blink of an eye. And I can't imagine what would be worse. Thinking about that time that you took getting to hell and thinking about what you could have done with it and thinking about how quickly it passed by. 10 years, wow. That was 10 years ago? I'm in hell. I don't know if that's worse, or if knowing that for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years, your only option is enjoying hell. This cigar should be done in a moment, so it won't be interrupting us anymore. And then I'll talk as fast as I can, like the Galoob guy. Fuck. This water bottle just bukkakied on my face. It's fucking... They design it that way, I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact that they make the new Poland... Well, that's not new. They've had this for years. The first thing they tried to do was they tried to introduce sport caps, which is the water bottle that has the cap that pops up so you can suck on it like some kind of gay gerbil. And if you want to go full conspiracy theory with me, let's just say that sport caps were designed to emasculate men. That might be a reach. Might just be marketing gone wrong. I'm willing to give you that. What I'm not willing to give you is the Poland Spring tiny cap. The short cap saves on plastic. That's the idea there. Poland Spring bottles, the small ones, have little fucking quarter-inch tall caps. You're not going to understand this unless you go buy a Poland Spring bottle with a tiny cap. Need you to go do that right now before watching the rest of this. Are you doing it? Go get that tiny cap. So like I said, it's possible the gay hamster sport cap was just a marketing mishap and not conspiracy theory. The Poland Spring tiny cap is most certainly an attack on the Western man. Look at the fucking thing, screw it off, play around with it, look at it, really think about it. It's definitely an attack on you and your sperm count. Anywho, God, this itches. Ah! Alright, so I mentioned that negativity is the path of least resistance. Now, if you have a good life, which I don't begrudge you that. I wouldn't say that rich people are well, that's not true. There is something about never having to be in the trenches or out in the wilderness and experiencing how cold life is that will eventually lead to a person not being morally complete, something like that. You can tell when someone has never had to face any adversity, and they're usually not cool people. There's some of them are cool, okay? But I grew up in a rich town, and there were a lot of people from my high school who they had it on fucking easy street. Their dads had like Wall Street jobs and stuff, and after school there's a lot of kids from my high school who ended up getting like consulting jobs and marketing jobs, and like just easy, they slid into an easy nepotism slot, and they don't look like they're doing too good, and I hope they are, and some of them are, and I'm happy to see that for sure. But it's tough to be a good, well-rounded, cool person if you have not really taken some shitty knocks in your life. So anyway, path of least resistance. Being a hateful, poisonous turd is easy. All you have to do is just wake up. Okay, your body does that naturally. You put on some YouTube videos, you put on the TV, and you just spend the day sort of ruminating on how you have nothing and how other people have it better than you and they deserve it less and you deserve the most, etc. Like, it's not hard to do that. Being out there with nothing, and in a lot of cases less than nothing, with debt, with problems, with high body fat, with these things that would in an RPG game would be equivalent to like a curse. Okay, you're cursed right now. You've got that purple gloom over your head. Fuck! This is a curse right now. RPG curse. Okay? And it's like in Earthbound when you get the mushroom on your head and pressing right makes you go down. Okay? And you don't know how the fuck to walk anymore. When you have the equivalent of that in real life, and you don't have a game plan, you don't have a 5-year plan, you don't have any talent, you don't have any assets, you have nothing, it is very, very fucking difficult and almost insane to imagine something better or to tell people that you're going to try to get something better. You will sound like a fucking insane person if you ever tell somebody that you have actual ambition when you're in this state, okay? And that's one reason why getting the TV show made me so fucking sick, was because all these weirdos, all these like Hollywood weirdos and like video director people and just like medium tier aspiring marketing nobodies were like hitting us up. Like people coming out of the woodwork saying things like, "Hey man, I always loved you. I've always been your biggest fan. Yo, you want to collab?" Like when you because the contrast between that and 10 years prior, when I was just some shithead and I was like, yeah, one day we're gonna have an Adult Swim show. Like the contrast between how people treat you when you have ambition and nothing versus when you actually have something, it's like you just view people. You look at these people and you see snakeheads. You don't see real human heads. You just see snakeheads. La 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 la. Hey man, heard you're doing really well. That's what it's like. Anyway, back to my point here. We got visitors. So you have nothing. You probably have less than nothing. You probably have 100,000 in debt. That's less than nothing. That means you're below zero. You're not even a zero. You're not even an empty Sun Chips bag on the curb right now. You're an empty Sun Chips bag full of shit and Hep C needles. That's what your status is in life right now, okay? You are, if you're playing an RPG, you're not the main character. You're the slime, the level 2 slime that the main character kills in one hit. That's your state of being. And I'm not saying that to rip on you. I'm saying, hypothetically, that might be where you are. I was there, okay? That's why I'm not saying it with malice. I'm not saying it to deride you, okay? And to be a level 2 slime and be like, yeah, one day I'm gonna beat the boss, is fucking insane. That is insane. And to start working towards beating the boss as a level 2 slime is like, it's fucking difficult, man. It is so difficult. And when I was in my one of the toughest places, which was when I was selling cars. Selling cars, probably had like 5,000 subscribers or something. The videos were making negative money. You know, I was selling my mom's jewelry to buy camera equipment and shit, and working this job selling cars, which was tough because, you know, in the winter, you don't sell cars in the winter. Nobody comes in. You go there, you go to the dealership for 12 hours. Not a single fucking person walks into the dealership. It's cold as fuck, and it was like 2009, I think, so nobody had money. Nobody was buying cars. This was right before the cash for cars stimulus, because nobody was buying cars. I think not George Bush, I think it was Obama, made it so that any car you brought in, even if it was totally worthless, was like, you automatically got like $4,000 trade-in value for that. Or something. I forgot how it worked exactly, but that was like the lowest point of car sales. Winter, you could go a week without seeing a single fucking customer at a big Toyota dealership. 1 week, 3 people come in. None of them buy. And so what you do is you go there, and because you want to be the first salesman, you're standing outside all day, okay? You don't get to stand outside all day in a Gore-Tex, in a nice, like, Swedish person snowsuit. You stand outside all day in, like, dress slacks when it's fucking freezing. And you're standing, your knees start to hurt, your feet hurt, you're wearing, like, thin leather shoes. And the most protection you get is like a dealership fleece. You get a nice fleece. And people come in and they don't want to buy. They're having a bad day. It's snowy. There's just slush everywhere. They track slush into the dealership, and you know, they get in the car for the test drive, and they get snow in the car. And what you do all day, instead of selling cars, is you move cars around the lot so that plow trucks can plow anytime there's snow, and you clear all the snow off the cars. You do this every day that it snows. It was just, it wasn't that the work was so bad. It was also that I was making negative money, because when you don't sell cars at a dealership, it's all commission based, but they have to like nominally pay you some form of minimum wage. So it's called the draw. So they pay you like $800 a week or something, but that money has to be paid back from your commission. So it's just like you go sell a car for nothing. It was just the worst. And it wasn't that the job was so bad. There's tons of shitty jobs. That's really the only like shitty job that I've had. It wasn't so bad. What was really bad about it was just the soul death of not moving myself forward, the spiritual cobwebs that were forming when each day I wanted to do a video thing or work on building the brand or whatever, and just knowing that I when would I ever be able to get back to this? When would I have the time or the money to stop selling cars for 10-12 hours a day and moving cars and cleaning the snow off of them, because that's what the job was. So that was rough. And I think there was some salesman or some motivational speaker or something, and it wasn't like someone made some brilliant point or something. It was just that I heard the word heat, and I heard the word heat, and I thought about heat, and that's when I started to do this visualization thing that really helped. And it was thinking about, like, closing your eyes and picturing like, you know, freezing ice crystals, picturing the world in a symbolic fantasy world way of what it really is, which is this frozen wasteland where everybody else is so caught up in trying not to freeze to death that there's no fucking way that they could help you in any form or even acknowledge your existence. So it's just ice crystals. It's just this pale blue freezing wasteland, and imagining in your hands a tiny almost imperceptibly, just barely glowing, the tiniest little ember, the tiniest ball of fire that you have to stoke, you have to protect it, and you have to somehow build it into something. Ah, gosh. Yeah. And that is a very useful metaphor, visual metaphor for what you really have to do to be truly positive. I'm not talking about surface level positivity, because I had shitloads of that because I was a car salesman. Oh, you want to try the new Toyota Yaris? Get ready for a treat. Get ready for a surprise, man. You're going to love the kick of this 1.6 liter engine. Oh, you want to try the new Corolla? They totally revamped it. You're going to love this. It's got Toyota's 5-star safety system. This is the Toyota Venza is the safest crossover SUV crossover that you can buy. This thing is awesome. This lady comes in a Mercedes. I have my condo in Vermont. I think I need a 4-wheel drive. I need one of those little RAV4s. It'll be my little buggy. Oh, awesome. It'll be your little buggy. Let me put the plates on it for you. Oh, you didn't know that floor mats cost extra? Now you're going to give me a bad review because the car didn't come with floor mats? Sorry. Eee, enjoy your little buggy. Oh my God. This one lady. Dyke. Ooh, dykes are the worst customers. Customers are shit, by the way. There's this perception or this idea that, like, car salesmen are out to get you. This is actually going to be a good topic. Did I talk about this before? No. And now you're going to get a 2-parter video. Remind me. Listen, I know that you're just watching a video right now, but at the end of when I talk about my heat point, positivity, negativity, I want you to remind me to talk about dykes buying cars. And I know that you'll remind me because my short-term memory is completely zapped. So I'm counting on you to turn this into a 2-parter video, interactive. Anyway, That's really it. I mean, this is a fucking 40 minute video here, which contains a point that takes about a minute to fully articulate, and I don't have any evidence for it or anything or any way to convince you other than cult of personality, I guess. But it's just that. It's that negativity, true negativity. I'm not talking about making fun of the girl, the Dodge Charger heart attack girl. That's not at all the type of shit that I'm saying here. I'm talking about actual negativity. I'm talking about actually being consumed by hate and jealousy and taking the easy way out. There's that, and then there's the hard way, which is actually being a level 2 slime and building anything, becoming anything, whether it's lifting weights, learning how to weld, figuring out some small business idea that works, whatever the fuck it is that you think you can do. It's really, really tough to do that as a level 2 slime. And heat and momentum are the two things that you have to cultivate them. Like, imagine the final scene from Fifth Element when Chris Tucker does not have any fire and they find one match. They have to have the fire element. All they have is one match. Nobody breathes, and they manage to save the galaxy with the one match. Even if you're starting off as a level 10 slime, or even if you're starting off as the main character in your RPG and you have a short sword and the game's easier than it is for other people, that attitude is still helpful. That attitude of like obsessively protecting and being vigilant and like busting your ass to build your medium-sized fire or whatever it is into something that is magnificent and fulfilling and brings light and goodness to yourself, to the people in your tribal circle, or to strangers online, whatever. Those are like the two options in my mind, and there's a mix, there's a gradient in between. And that's that. Tough to actually make shit, especially when you get raped on taxes, and raped by bureaucracy, and raped by the stupidity of life. I mean, every step, even if you have stuff, even if you have something going on, there's just, it's like there's just no end to how stupid and inefficient and there's no end to the roadblocks. Like, really, look at what Trump went through to become president, right? I mean, super powerful, super rich, and look at the fucking hell that he faced to whether you like him or not. What he actually had to go through to become president. It was like everybody was trying to fight him, and that's another good point, man. People are once you start to actually do things, holy shit, this is like a whole nother video. Fuck. 6 a.m. Ugh. And I still got to remember to tell you about the other thing that I already forgot. So remind me by yelling at the computer screen. If you get the feeling that this video is going to end before I can get to that point that I needed to, that story, car sales, remind me of that. Yell at your screen. So here's another one. I might have to split this into two parts.